Hi. So, I want to share with you a global sense of what is it that you need to do to really transform your life. Because too many of us, we buy programs, we go to seminars, sometimes we pay a coach, we never follow up, and 2-3 years down the line, we have not really achieved what we wanted to achieve because we've not created a consolidated plan that is long-term in its essence. Now, I'm going to share with you lessons that I've learned from one of the greatest teachers of all times. His name was Dr. Paul J. Meyer. Now, Paul J. Meyer researched and understood that as human beings, we are working or living within what I call the 6 dynamics of life. And it says, unfortunately, many of us, we set goals on the financial part of our lives, then everything else falls apart. So what he said it's important for us to look at our lives holistically so that when you set goals, you know exactly how much energy and how much time you need to invest in which part of your life. And understanding the fact that at some point in time in your life, some things will be slightly more important than others, but that does not necessarily mean that you neglect those that are not important. So I'm going to share with you a process that he created called the Wheel of Life. Now, this has become a universal tool that a lot of great teachers like Anthony Robbins, a lot of guys out there use it as a foundation to coach and to teach. So I'm going to use the same process. So Paul J. Meyer says, our life is divided into 6 equal portions, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we create congruence within the 6. However, I'm going to say a very big however, at any given point in time in your life, you are going to focus at one point, but again, you don't have to neglect the others. So the first thing that he says we all come from families, and we all want to build homes. So you come from a family, you're either a student, an entrepreneur, or you just branched out of your family, you're starting your own life, you came from a family. Now, the question of coming from a family doesn't matter functional, dysfunctional. We all know that we all universally come from very dysfunctional families. But that does not necessarily mean that we should be dysfunctional ourselves. We can learn from the real hardship that our families have gone through so that we can not replicate or duplicate the mistakes that I've made. So the first thing is your family and your home. The second one, it's education. Now, education gives you mental aptitude. Now, I'm a proponent of self-education. In my previous videos, I speak a lot about 2 sets of education. The first one, which is you go to school, you get a diploma, degree, certificate, honors, masters, and PhD. It's all good. We need that kind of knowledge. But I'm a great proponent of self-education, where you look at the world holistically based on what I'm going to be sharing with you here and say to yourself, which part of my life do I need to develop and what skills do I need? And then you begin to focus on those by using audio, using, going online, using a platform like we have, getting a coach, attending seminars, buying books, and those kind of things, and buying different programs. So education gives you mental aptitude. Then there's finance, which most people focus on. And finance is driven by your career. So what you do with your career will determine how far you get in closer to your financial freedom, because a lot of people speak about financial freedom, but just as a concept, they don't have plans in place to make it happen. So the third thing that Paul J. Meyer said, he says, all of us need money to make things happen. We all know money is a very important part of our lives. However, you cannot make money in a vacuum. You need to have a career. It can be in singing, it can be dancing, it can be soccer, it can be a teacher, it can be a painter, it can be anything. So your career, that which you become and that which you give to the world, in return the world gives you back the money, and the money creates harmony or sustainability in your life. So the third one speaks about money. The fourth one, which is quite fascinating, talks about our health, because our health determines our wellness. So the fourth one speaks about health and wellness. Now, and this is a big joke that everybody I know, including myself, we've got more than 3 or 4 books that talk about losing weight, diet, and everything. But unfortunately, not too many of us follow through on these things because we believe that losing weight is an event. It's not an event, it's a process, it's a life decision, it's a lifestyle thing. So you've got to ask yourself, is my health good enough to sustain my wellness? And then the fourth one is what we call social, and then here it's got recreational. At the end of the day, we are social beings who live within a social construct. Now the question is, what is your social intelligence? How easy is it for you to connect with other people and begin to build relationships? Now, in a video where I speak about organizational culture, I share that there are two kinds of people. There are those that I call cultural critic, and there are those that I call interculturally intelligent. Now, cultural critics are people that have a sense or a belief that their culture is more superior than your culture. On the other hand, interculturally intelligent people are those that understand this very powerful concept that says, seek to understand other people first before you are understood. So you've got to question yourself around your social intelligence and how that adds onto your recreational life. Because when you do recreation, it can be golf, tennis, basketball, soccer, you are going to interact with people from different social construct. So you must have the ability to connect with people at their level. And the last one, which is the most debated upon, especially in this era that we're in, is ethical/spiritual. Now, all of us are spiritual beings experiencing a physical existence. So it's quite easy. There's Buddhism, there's Buddhism, there's Judaism, there's Christianity, there's Islam, there's all kind of religions which are constructed by human beings, for the lack of a better word, without getting into the big argument about this, because it really creates big arguments around people's lives. So whatever your anchor is, because in Africa there's African spirituality, so people anchor themselves in different ways to give meaning to their existence and to fulfill their spiritual hunger, the hunger that's spiritual. Now, the ethical part of it, for me, it's a very big thing, because a lot of people cut corners on their way to success. They do very unethical things, very consciously, some of them very unconsciously, some of them informed, some of them not informed. However, ultimately, your legacy is going to be built around your ethics. Were you an ethical person when you run your businesses? Were you an ethical teacher? Were you an ethical musician? Were you an ethical soccer player? There's nothing as said as seeing soccer players being dragged to court because of tax evasion and all kind of things. So ethics for me, it's quite important. And in the speaking industry where I am, we have massive ethical issues where people stand on stage and embellish the things that they've achieved. And unfortunately, we live in societies where we want Instagram, Facebook, likes, and all these kind of things. And people don't investigate, nor do they ask if what people are claiming is the truth. So for me, ethics is a very important part of this. Now that I have shared with you the 6, this is a series that is going to have a couple of videos that takes you through a process. And this process is quite simply means that each and every one of us, to really become sustainably successful. Again, success you have to define for yourself, but sustainable means you're not a one-hit wonder. One day things are happening, then you complete it down and you can come back. We all go through phases, but there's a sense of consistency in who you go, what you go through. So this series of videos, I don't know if they're going to be 4, 3, 6, I'm not too sure. We'll see where it takes us. But they are going to be following this. How you build your dream team for success. How you build a team of people around you that are going to assist you to reach the pinnacle of your life. But before you do so, you've got to look at yourself holistically on these 6 dynamics. Now, here's the magic. Now that you know what I've just shared with you, then what? Or so what? So what is a very big question. So what is quite simple. What it means you've got to do the magic. You've got to do a SWOT analysis on all of this. Now, what is that SWOT analysis going to help you to get to? It's going to help you to begin to map yourself out. What does it mean? I'm going to share with you some few examples. So, in a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to measure where you are. So I'm going to say, in a scale of 1 to 10, how functional is your family and how happy is your home? Some people are going to say, I'm at a 4. Then I'm going to say educational and mental aptitude. How, some people say, I'm reasonably educated, I know quite a stuff, I'm going to put a 5 here. Finance and career, some people would say, I'm at a 2, so you put here. Health and wellness, somebody says, yeah, I'll put a 2 again. Social, but this one is fascinating because most people have it on a very high, it will be 6. And ethical and spiritual, some people will say they put it in a 5. Now, if you take this 6 and we create a map, so it means it's going to go like this. So what does it tell me? It tells me and it tells you that there's a certain imbalance. There are certain places where you excel. There are certain places where you need to really focus on. There are certain places where you're stable. There are certain places where there's stability in the both places. So what it means is when you create or go through a SWOT analysis, it will give you where you are in this thing so that you are able, that when you begin to set goals, you know exactly where you should set your goals on. Because ultimately, we want to create and assist people to get into this thing called balance. Now, you're not going to achieve it in 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It's going to take time. Like I said, at some point in time, your career and your finance is going to occupy a very high space in your life. It doesn't mean you do that at the neglect of your family. It doesn't mean that you do that at the neglect of building your mental aptitude. So basically what I'm going to take you through that once you've done a SWOT analysis and once you've got your map out, then the question becomes, what do you do? And I'm saying, for you to be able to build your life, create congruency, you've got to build a team around you. And I'm going to share with you 5 very simple principles that are going to help you to begin to build your dream team for success. Because if I name Tiger Woods, I name Rafael Nadal, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, all these people that we see singularly successful, behind them there's a very powerful team that is helping them to do certain things very well. So for you, wherever you are and whatever level of your life you are at, be it a student, an aspirant entrepreneur, an entrepreneur, or a CEO, or a marketing director, or whatever level of life that you're in, if you do not have a team behind you that inspires you to do the right kind of things, but also hold you accountable when you're falling off the track, I can promise you now, you're not going to be able to create success, let alone create sustainability in your success, so that ultimately the big thing that remains when you're unable to talk for yourself, it's your legacy. So I'm going to take you through a couple of lessons. So this is just to give you a holistic background as we start to get into this process of assisting you to build your dream team for success. This is Billy Selegani. Catch you